Hey, so we're standing outside Owen Video's house, about 40,000 subs on YouTube. He does business content and he does professional videos for Fortune 100 companies. He let us inside his house to check out his studio and his professional video setup. Let's check it out. So what is this part of the studio for? And then if you wouldn't mind running us through the gear that you have.
Okay, so this doesn't normally go here. It's normally out there on the set, but just for demonstration purposes, this is the Movie Maker 2 set by Grip Gear. And I bought this a la carte, but you can get the whole set together online for like 130 bucks. It's a motorized slider, and this is the track system. You can actually buy additional tracks as well. It's a really, really great system. But what this does is this enables you to get these moving shots from a place where, you know, you may not be operating the camera. You're not able to operate the camera. So this engine will take the camera back and forth, and you can put these little blockers in, and this will kind of give it sort of a limit. So as soon as it hits this blocker, what's gonna happen is it's gonna go the opposite direction. This thing will bounce back and forth. Phenomenal piece of equipment. You can actually flip it around and it will get you a 360 as well. So great piece of gear. It's all motorized. I love it. This is of course my pop-up green screen. We put it right here to block our view of the tools and the household things that we don't want to focus on camera. Plus we shoot all of our thumbnails here. So at the end of a shoot, when I'm done, we're ready to shoot some thumbnails, we pull the lights on us. We've got, you know, sort of.
So we are not in a living room, all right? This is not his living room.
Yeah.
This is a living room set, is it not?
That's right. And it was designed to be sort of like a morning talk show. Not the first pair of chairs we bought. We went through a long, arduous process until we got the ones that we wanted. So these are our two talk show host chairs, and what we do is we sort of align everything right down the middle, kind of where you're standing, and we put this little table perfectly aligned, and then we move the chairs into that line so that there's very little like space through and we're close enough. Pillows not only look great with the set, but they tell us like how to stay at the top of the chair, right? Because when you're down here, it doesn't look great on camera, your clothes wrinkle, so you really want to stay up here. And if you're sort of doing this thing in your chair, you're using the tool improperly. We bought these huge bags right here. These are like patio furniture bags to keep the chairs nice and clean, because these are investments, right? And these were expensive and we don't want to lose them.
It's good you mentioned these pillows here, because I know if I don't have these, basically my default sitting situation is like, this is how I normally conduct interviews if there's no pillows.
Just mellow?
Just mellow, and I'm just like, I'm falling down. Yeah. You know, I'm down this low.
It's a tool. They're all tools, and it came as we were shooting. Like we were shooting and realized, you know, we're too far, like we're both slouching. So at first I was like, let's put a box back there. But then, you know, and my wife is like, why don't we just do pillows? And I'm like, that's a much better idea. You know, these lights came from IKEA, phenomenal lights. Really, we were gonna get rope lights, but rope lights were like too thick. Let me show you how it works. They've got long cords on them. So we actually sort of taped the boxes, you know, right here, so I can turn them on or off right there without kind of exposing the rest of it. All these little trinkets, you think, you just bought some trinkets, but we were actually Instagramming with a set designer. She designed sets for like musical theater, and asking about color codes and process and these. And so she actually helped us pick out every single individual item here. This is something that we're super proud of, because we needed to tattoo the wall. We needed the wall to show power your passion so you could always see it. But if you put it on the wall, now we can't use this wall for anything else. So I had an old TV, and I go, wouldn't it be great if we could just put the brand name of the show on the television? But of course, then you get glare. So I go, I wonder if there's a prop TV that we could buy. And sure enough, we put in prop TV. This website came up. They gave us a bunch of different size options, and we ended up buying this TV. We got a banner made at the local print shop, and we put the banner inside the TV, and we angled the light so that there's no glare.
What website was this?
Props America, I think, is the name of the company. But we Googled prop TV, and we found one, and we bought one without too much loyalty to the company. You know what? They served us well. They had this thing shipped to us in like a week.
What's interesting here is it looks like a living room because of what you're saying. It's all of these subtle things that you might not think about on a set,
right,
that turn it into this living room vibe. This is just your wall painted blue.
Yes.
What is this thing?
Okay, all right, so the game changer right here. We were struggling, and as you can see on the bottom here, we originally painted this wall blue, and this was our main back wall, right? And we were stuck on the design. It wasn't working, right? You could see too much of the non-set area, and we thought, okay, well, what if we showed a little bit of that to kind of show that it's a set? Didn't like that. And you know, I have this sort of philosophy, when I'm stuck creatively, I think, what would I do if I flipped all of this on its head? So I thought, well, what if we flipped the walls and instead made this the wall? That worked. But we needed some kind of design. So get this, I was at church, believe it or not. I was at church dropping off my kids at the little Sunday school area, and they had this really neat pattern on the wall. I go up and I start to feel, I'm like Helen Keller, and I'm just like feeling it. I'm like, oh, that's cardboard. That's not real. That's not concrete. I could put that up. So I asked the children's leader, and I go, where did you guys get this? She goes, I don't know, some store. So I immediately began to Google, and I said, if you were to Google that, what would you look for? She goes, 3D wall panels. So I go home and I Google 3D wall panels, and I find a billion companies that sell this stuff. So I found a design that I liked, and we bought it. We went on and it cost us a couple bucks because we had to get enough of it. It turned out so fantastic. So now we have these 3D wall designs that make the wall pop up. It looks more game show. Plus, lighting on this looks phenomenal because it gives you all these shadows. We also shoot other stuff for a company that's just this wall here. So we ended up really winning on this wall because of the 3D wall art. Kind of a pain to put on. I had to put on each piece with glue, and then I had to hold the thing in place, each individual one of these in place for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes.
So let's come over here. If you pan out, you can see this is the workstation.
The crow's nest, yeah.
The crow's nest.
The battle station. So what we have here is a couple different things that you may think, oh, it's a white table, but we got white intentionally. We got white so that we could, clear off the main area here. We get a lot of products from companies that they want us to check out their stuff. We got the white table so that we could film overhead camera stuff right here. And this is a little prompter that they sent me. This is the Wowza TriCaster box, and that's gonna go into the DJ box over here. So this is the heart and soul of the operation. We got a Pro FX 8-channel mixer, and that is for the microphone. But this handles all of our audio. So all of our audio comes in here before going into the computer. The system right here is an Aurora R7. It's like the world's greatest gaming computer out right now. And of course, every gamer hears that. Yeah, well, every gamer goes, no, it's not, mine's better. You know what I mean? But yeah, because I am not that guy, right? I am a producer. I expect the crew to have the gear that works, right? Well, I had to build the crew. So I went with one of my good buddies, David Foster, who runs Geeks Life. He also runs Livestream Pros. And I was like, just give me the skinny man. What should I get? He told me what to get, and it served us very, very well. Very, very fast. We ended up adding an SSD to it to make it even faster. And now I'm in this computer's lightning fast. I'm a Mac guy, so it was hard to bring in a PC as it was, but only a PC is gonna get the job done. 4K cameras here. These are the Panasonic's, brilliant little cameras. They fit in the palm of your hand. They shoot amazing 4K, and they stream with a clean HDMI. A lot of people don't know this, but you plug in an H camera using like Camlink or some other software so that your camera can be your webcam, but you'll still see sort of like the square on the outline, or you'll see sort of like the settings. That's because you're not getting a clean HDMI stream. We had almost a clean HDMI stream, except we could see the date flashing on the bottom. Well, that's unprofessional. So I asked my buddy, Marcus Campbell, who runs Affiliate Marketing Dude on YouTube, and he says, because he said, hey, buy these cams. I said, how do I get this date off of the camera? And he goes, you're never gonna believe this. He goes, flip the viewfinder around. We flipped the viewfinder around, perfect stream. And actually we prefer it because now we can see ourselves streaming. So the things you learn from having a great network of people, always have networks of people that you can go ask your questions to. Try to keep it on your level, right? You never want to go to your clients too much and ask them for how to run your business. You know what I mean? You want to keep colleagues in your inner circle.
Why run with a camera like this? I saw you had the G7X, which is what we use for YouTube.
Yes.
Why this versus that, which actually you have a G7X right here?
Yeah, because the G7X does not give us a clean HDMI stream. We could use program like Cam Twist to get that, but now we're adding more power for the computer to run off of, and we want the computer solely focused on streaming to the internet. So anytime we're adding new stuff, we're potentially complicating our stream. I bought the G7X for that purpose. I should have done my homework first because I wanted to shoot my live streams from my office on the G7X as well, but it does not give us a clean HDMI stream.
Tell me more about this box here.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so this is your...
Yeah, let me show you.
I'm not even gonna pretend to know what this is, all right? This is... like, I know it's an audio mixing board.
Yeah.
So this is your audio mixing board. Why did you choose this piece of gear, and what gear is it?
I chose this particular brand because my good friend Tyler Anderson, who runs Casual Fridays and Social Media San Diego, he has it, and I knew I needed at least 4 inputs, right? Because we've got the 2 guests, we have the computer, and we have like the Skype in guest, right? So we're gonna need at least 4 inputs. So it gives me 8 inputs, right? It's interesting. You'll notice that the people, they all wear a headset. And that's because if they were to hear the person on screen, right? So they're interviewing someone out on site, right? And if they were to hear them with their natural ears, so would the microphones in the studio. Every producer has that problem. So we were in here running streams and we're getting all this echo, and it was ridiculous. So what we ended up doing was getting these newscaster earpieces, right? Like this piece right here that we connect. If you actually, you can take a look down here. We run the cabling down through the studio so you can't see it. And then it comes behind the wall and into the mixer here. So Teresa and I can hear what the guest is saying, but that audio doesn't get picked up on the microphone, right? And that was a huge hack. Took us a long time to figure out how to use it. We were at a place where we were just kind of like staring at the camera while the guest was saying what she was saying, and then we'd have to have her repeat it. And then we would answer it, and we were cutting out and we were editing, and it's just no way to run a business. Here's something that's gonna just knock your socks off, right? So these are our Rode Smart Lobs. We have mic 1 and mic 2, and these are amazing little pieces of machinery here. But we couldn't get them to work in the soundboard. So I had to tweet Rode, and I'm like, Rode, what's the deal? Rode's Twitter account was like, oh, it's simple, buy this. And I'm like, yeah, buy this. And they were telling us to buy these little devices, 25 bucks online, okay? And I was like, I don't wanna buy that for 25 bucks. I want a $10 Chinese solution.
You just want it to work.
Yes, I want to make it's gotta work, right? Yeah. Core value. Well, I bought 3 cheap ones from Amazon. None of them worked. I ended up buying this one. It worked on both of my systems with all of my mics beautifully. So next time Rode gives you advice, you take Rode's advice. This is a charging station. We bought this at Bed Bath & Beyond, right? I think it might have even been a Christmas present. And we have all these little, these charger devices. Well, these microphones run on batteries, or they can be plugged into a charging device. So what we do is we connect the mics to the cameras and we run, right? See how this has got 2 different devices? We plug the mic into this and we plug the camera into this. So the camera and the mic are both running on a backup power generator, right? When this runs out, if it does, it knocks into the cameras and the mics, you know, solo power. But doing that saves us money on batteries. It also saves us money on the power that's running through this facility. So you've got to buy equipment that can run off power packs. And this is something new that we're not used to seeing, but super valuable for us.
When you're doing a live stream, what is coming out of this camera in terms of what wires are plugged in?
Yeah, so it's an HDMI mini. So it looks like this is a regular HDMI, same that would go into your Apple TV or your television, but this one is a mini HDMI. It looks kind of like a USB, right? That goes into the camera, and then from the camera we have an extension cord, and then it goes right into the computer. So we don't have any need. In fact, if you come over here, you'll see, this is like where old equipment goes to die. We have 2 Blackmagic boxes, right? And back in the day, 3 years ago, you know, when I was doing live streams, these were $300 each, right? And now they're paperweights. They work fine, but you just don't need them, right, for live streams anymore. This was before Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Clients would call me to do webinars from their hotel. I don't mean like hotel events, I mean literally like from their hotel or from their houses. And we had to connect a 4K cam to a box like this that then goes into the computer before we could stream live. Now it can be done, you know, with software. Some of it's free.
What software do you use?
To stream, okay, so in here we use a program called vMix. And vMix, it is the Lord's solution to live streaming. You know, the good Lord gave us vMix on the 8th day. There's other softwares out there. We also stream on BeLive, and I'm ambassador for BeLive. 2 completely different softwares, right? Like the need for BeLive is a Facebook Live, get up and go entrepreneurial system. vMix is, I want to run a television studio. And that's the need that vMix satisfies for us. So we run that here. We love it. And, you know, we've been talking with the company, and if you're watching, we love you. We love everything that you're doing. So send us stuff. Great.
Send me stuff too, by the way. Come on, kick it over here.
Share the love, yeah. Share the love. vMix is very complicated. I have a producer that runs the show, and you know, she spent the first month on training videos, just watching it. But you know, that's gonna spill over into a training program we're gonna create called How to Run vMix, and we'll charge for that and turn that into a product as well.
What are these lights? I'm always wondering, how are you keeping this studio bright? How do I look, Sam? Sam's our cameraman. How do I look? If I'm this close to the light, is this too close? Where do you think I should stand?
You know, the soft boxes are an interesting beast because I had these in my small studio and they just didn't work, right? They weren't giving me the light that I needed. But in the studio, they're perfect. These work as fill lights. We got these from Studio Pro. Amazon, 150 bucks, something like that. And the best soft boxes I've ever had. You know, I've been buying Amazon stuff since the beginning of time, right? I had a green screen I bought from Amazon. And back in the day, they were big and bulky and they sucked. Now, these are actually pretty high quality and I've got 3 different levels to choose from, so I can choose. So this is 6 bulbs and this is 4 bulbs, 2 bulbs, no bulbs.
So that's the garage. That's where you're doing a lot of the live streaming. You have another section of the studio.
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
You want to see it? Yeah, come on down. When we moved in here, our goal was to make every wall sort of filmable. So even this wall right here, right? I have this little character that I do with, his name's Alfredo, and I wear like an ascot, and I do some weird, like, welcome to, you know, kind of stuff. And I film that all right here. And this gives me sort of that rich man's house sort of look right here.
He can do the rich man's house set in this surprisingly small house.
Right.
That's what's so surprising to me.
Right. Now this TV right here, right? Again, it was also, we put it up in such a way where I could do stuff with the TV in the background, like a PowerPoint slide presentation. This wall as well, we set up for our family vlog because we wanted to have, like, you know, we're filming the vlog everywhere we go, but then we wanted to have these moments of like the real world, right? By MTV, it's kind of like, oh, and this is where we confessions and all. This all blurred out in the video, but we had all the kids' backpacks right here with their names on them, and that's why we removed it, because we thought, you know what? People don't need to know our kids' names.
Maybe don't say the kid's name.
Right? You know, or like, we'll ease into it. It's like, you might hear their names, but you gotta like be a part of the community, right? This is where I film 90% of my content. And if you look at my YouTube channel from last year, you'll see a whole lot of growth here. Because at first it was just an office with plaques on the wall, beige walls, and I call it beige wall syndrome, right? We all have beige walls somewhere. Get rid of them, put color on your walls, put life in your walls. And so I didn't know what to do, so I instead just painted this whole wall blue. I literally didn't know what to do. And then when I saw that, I thought, you know, it'd be cool, a little starburst on the wall. And so I took an emoji, like a burst emoji. I think what I did was I like looked at it from back here and then just freehand traced it on the wall and got this, found some amazing Christmas lights to put around it, and I light that up. So now I've got a great place for vertical video for IGTV, and I filmed that right here. Most of my show is filmed on a Canon G7X, and it's filmed from right about this angle here. So you get me in the corner, and got this amazing subscribe pillow. Can't remember the company. Throw pillow, something like that. Great little key here. And I found this at Hobby Lobby, right? It's a calendar, and it says 01 January. So I changed that to say 01 video, right? So it's 01 video. And that's kind of one of those like behind the scenes, you know, it's like 01 video right here. Really kind of like shows you what I do. My kids mess with this stuff from time to time. And I love the yellow emoji. I just saw that at Target and I grabbed it, and I love the contrast because there's no other yellow anywhere else. And that actually helped me to determine what color my lower thirds would be, because I now use yellow in almost all my branding. This right here, I did a whole video on this. This is actually a backdrop that I got from Amazon for 20 bucks. You should get one too. You should get one right now. And there's lots of different designs. We just push pinned this up on the wall. You can see it kind of has, you know, so that you can tell when you're this in close and personal, but on the internet, nobody's able to tell. And it's not like we're trying to deceive them, but we don't say anything. We just stream live, and people, they watch this and they go, I like that set. I like this guy. They don't know why. They just know they like it. And you know why? Because it's no beige walls. It's not a typical office set. They feel like they're going somewhere. And when they've gone somewhere, now you've got them, right? So that's sort of the mindset we try to deal with our clients and our own shows, is where are we taking the viewer, which is why in there we have sort of that living room scene. We want them to feel like they're a part of our lives. They're coming into our coffee talk. And I feel like we've accomplished that. So if you're to film this way, it looks like a professional YouTube studio, and you have 35,000 subs to show for it. But then you spin around, this is your stepson's room. Yeah, absolutely. He's got his baseball cards here, or his soccer cards. I do keep this. This is a book from my friend Glen Henry, Beleaf Melanin is his name. He wrote a book. He's really big into family. My wife and I were really big into family. He wrote a book, and I keep it here because he's a good friend. He also lives close by, and we brainstorm together. But I kept this here to remind me that of his success, right? And I look at this and I go, Beleaf did it, I can do it. you know? And so I put his book here, even though it's a kid's story, it's not really for me. I put it here so that when I'm at my desk and I'm looking out, I see his book and it pumps me up. The rest of this junk is my kids' stuff, and it's, you know, I'll tell you, it's awesome because at nighttime he'll be in here and he'll be just reading his book, or he'll be reading Boys Life magazine or something like that, you know what I mean? And he's watching me perform and he's watching me work. And I know that even though it's not necessarily quality time with my son, he's learning, he's being mentored by me in that regard. And he just launched his channel, and so we're hoping to see that grow as well.
So the mentorship is working. Right?
Yeah,
because I know. So my dad and my mom both ran a business, and there's so much I gained from just sitting in the back seat and like watching them negotiate with dealers, or like watching my dad yell at people because the price wasn't right.
Yeah,
and you just pick it up.
You do, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because you're obviously very savvy as a business person. You know what you're doing. I believe in pouring into my kids, but I don't always have the time to sit and be like, this is how you be an entrepreneur. But so we involve them in everything. You know, my wife has the kids now because she knew you guys were going to be shooting here. But most of the time, they just come with us and they are a part of the deals and they see us shooting. And so we hope that will bleed into them. This over here is actually, it looks like a kid's closet, but it's, I mean, there might be a couple things here, but this is our costumes, right? So I've got, you know, like my Disco Steve, you know, or is it Disco Stu? I forget his name. I've got this outfit that I wear. So it's like a default Halloween costume, but I've worn it for many shoots. I've got like adult footy pajamas here, variety of different like suits and sport coats, and then I've got like this traditional sort of Thailand gear. Actually, I bought from a Korean seamstress in Salt Lake City, Utah. But I keep these things around because, you know, Billie Jean is marketing, has talked a lot about props and entertainment, and so when I come across neat costumes or get-ups, I keep them in here so that I have something to pull from if I need it.
What gear do you have? This is probably the last thing we're going to touch. So what gear do you have on this?
Yeah, okay, very, very simple setup, you know, and for all of you guys watching, you know, you're getting something for free right now that I offer in one of my courses, which is how to set up your home. Because the whole thing is that you want to be ready to go at a moment's notice, right? You want to be in a place where you press one button and you're live streaming on the internet, right? Or as close to that as possible. So let me show you sort of the gear that I have set up. So I've got one Mac and a backup screen. Okay, one Mac and a backup screen. So you should know that's what I'm working with here. This is a Rode Procaster mic on a mic arm, right? You don't necessarily need the mic arm, right? A lot of mics will come with a table stand just like this, and for many of you, that's all you're gonna need. I like the mic arm because it gives me the broadcaster look. I went ahead and got this mic flag from I'm gonna mess up their name, but it's like micflags.com or something like that. So affordable, and again, it makes the whole thing look better. So I've got like my typical branding here, but then when I do my podcast, I just change it over, and now I've got the podcast branding there. So that's sort of the microphone setup. Rode Procaster is $220, but you have to kind of like, you have to really like talk right into this for this to work. If you're back here, you're not gonna get the same crystal clarity. You have to stay right here. If you get a mic like the ATR 2100, an Audio Technica, it's an $80 mic. You can move around it. You have some flexibility with that mic. So I would actually recommend it to most of my clients. Like when you start to get to this place where you can hear the difference, then maybe get the Procaster because it means you've been doing this a while. But in the very beginning, the ATR is a great mic to start with. I use the Logitech C920 webcam. This webcam is a little bit out of date now. There's been like 3 or 4 versions that have come out since. And so I would recommend the C930 or even the Brio, which is a 4K webcam. I wave my hands a lot, you know, like I'm like a Marxist when I'm live streaming. So I'm like banging on the table and shaking things around, and the camera was shaky. So what I do is, it's not in here now, but I have a light that I put this on, and I attach it right here. I attach it here so I can get the same angle, but then when I move the table, it doesn't shake, right? It doesn't shake, it increases the viewer experience. This right here is an Alesis Multi-Mix. It's a 4-channel mixer, but for most of us that use XLR mics, it's only gonna give you 2 channels. 1 channel actually blew out, and I wrote Alesis about it, and they're helping me. I wish they were moving a little bit faster. In all honesty, they should have just sent me a new one. But I'm working on getting it fixed because I do want to have 2 mics. In the meantime, my mic goes into the Alesis mixer and then it goes into the computer. That allows me to play with my levels, and it allows me to put a higher quality mic into my computer, so my audience gets a more pure sound, which gives my show standout ability. An XLR mic is a mic that connects with this. I'll bring this over to you with this type of connector. This is like a real mic, right? Versus having one that just kind of like plugs in. That's called a 1/4 inch. You might even get like a headphone jack one. That's gonna be a 3.5 millimeter. And each time you're losing quality. So your XLR is gonna rock, your 1/4 inch is gonna be, you know, not quite as good. And then your small ones, those are gonna be your consumer grade, lowest cost out of the box. This is our mascot. This is our mascot here. So this is our mascot, Jelly Bean, and he's just lying on the floor because he loves to be around fame and stardom. Apparently that relaxes him. But he's a good cat, and normally we don't even really get along because I'm more of a dog guy. But he knew we were gonna be in here today, and he likes to be attached to the fame, so.
Be sure to check out Owen's channel down below. He has a lot of good content about how to sell and create a business on YouTube. If you want the actual discovery call questions we use to qualify new clients, you can check that out in the description below as well. I would love if you would subscribe to the channel and share the video if you know a friend that might get value from this type of content. I'm Alex Berman. Thanks.